I have. Hey, Jackal, come find me.
You are being followed. One op 4 remaining.
And they want to ban that guy. They want to ban him. Garbage. I got trapped by Jackal. He died.
Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
What is going on, guys? Arcade here with a brand new video for you guys today, and today we're getting back to talking about Siege, something I haven't talked about in a long time. I have some ideas involving Siege and some other shooters that I'm gonna like spitball and brainstorm about, and I'll get to you guys with them when I can. But today I want to talk about a little bit of a topic going on in the Siege community right now, which has a lot to do with people leaving the game. Siege is losing its players. Player base is dropping like flies right now. And the question is why, and what can Siege do, the developers of Ubisoft can do, to fix what we as fans, we as players call the issue. But before I get into that, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the player. People don't understand this when it comes to talk about anything when it comes to consumers, be it video games, music, movies, TV shows, anything that you consume, that you go out and buy. No one thinks about the consumer as the problem. No one thinks about the gamer as the problem. When it comes to Siege, I will say this. 70% of what's wrong with Siege right now is all because of the players. That's the hot take. The hot take is 70% of all of Siege's issues right now is because of the players. But what do players do? Ubisoft do this, Ubisoft do that, Ubisoft. What about you? Because a lot of the issues that I see with Siege has less to do with Ubisoft and more to do with who's on my team. More to do with who I'm going against. I'll say right now, I don't play Siege a lot anymore. Usually when it comes to me in Siege, a new season starts, I do my placements. If I don't like my placement, then I'll grind to get my rank up. After that, I stop playing the game until mid-season, play some more, stop playing again to the new season. That's how I've been with Siege for a very long time recently. And that's why you don't see a lot of Siege content on the channel anymore. I still have a shit ton of clips that I can use for videos. I just don't care. I don't care about Siege because not the developers, not the game. I love Siege as a game. It's the players. The players are the issue. And when it comes to my personal opinion, because again, when it comes to my videos, it's always going to be my opinion, and that's it. The players who play Siege are top 5 most toxic players in gaming. You have people who DDoS. You have people who intentionally throw games because things didn't go the way. Say you pick Ash and they want to play Ash, so they just throw because they're not playing their main. You also have the issue with ban phase. So then you sit there and think to yourself, well, Archangel, give us some details, information on what makes the banning an issue. And I've talked about that. Here's the thing. If you look at my channel when it comes to Siege, I have talked about the ban phase multiple times because I don't think the player base understands it. And I feel like that doesn't get to people's head when I make those videos. The player base doesn't understand how bans work in Siege or how it should work. Right now, it's been the same way since the ban phase first came out. People do bans based on 2 things. What the Pro League does and what is and what isn't annoying. People see the pros ban players, ban operators, and they just think to themselves, oh, we should ban those exact same operators because the pros are doing it. Not understanding that the pros are doing things in a different circumstance. The pros are banning people based off who they're playing against and doing that based off the footage that they have seen. Either A, they play that team multiple times, B, they've seen footage, highlights, and VODs of that team play. And anyone can watch Pro League. If you're G2 and you know that on Wednesday you got a game against freaking Rogue, you can easily go to YouTube, look for a Rogue versus whoever video, and see who Rogue is favoring in those matches. And so what do you do when you go against Rogue? You ban the operator who seems to be their top guy, who seems to be their top pick. That's what dictates things when it comes to Pro League. Ranked Siege is not Pro League. You don't have footage of the other team and what they do. What you do have information on is who is the most used operators in Siege. There's a win delta and there's a loss delta. There's information given by Ubisoft on who is the most picked, who's the least picked operators in the game. So you can use that information to dictate who you should be banning. For example, Right now, people are banning, again, Jackal, which is silly. She's still banning Jackal in 2020. Just, I'll throw you a bone. Because I've been saying this for a long period of time, that banning Jackal's stupid. I'll throw you a bone on a Jackal ban being smart. The map. If you're playing on a map where you are going to be heavily reliant on your roamers, and it's a big map, then I can understand you needing Jackal. But for the most part, more often than not, you don't need to ban Jackal because two things. One, people are going to pick Jackal because his ability is kind of complicated to use nowadays. It's not the same Jackal it was a year ago. Jackal is different. He requires a little bit more skill. He still has great guns, but Jackal himself, when it comes to his abilities, are not the same anymore. He's been nerfed multiple times, and to a point right now, I think Jackal is a safe character to not ban. Yes, he needs to be annoying, sure, but you can counter Jackal in so many ways, and that's the kind of issue when it comes to Siege players. Siege players don't want to counter. Siege players want to just, play the game and just go from there. They don't want to have to use their brain. They don't want to have to think. They don't want to have to outsmart. They just want to run around, point, shoot, done. So when it comes to Jackal, he impedes that a little bit. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to another character we'll mention pretty soon. So don't stop banning Jackal. That's the first thing. Stop banning Jackal. He's been nerfed to a point so he doesn't need to get nerfed. I have a number of clips that I can easily throw in this video. You'll probably see some of them where I'm just countering Jackal with ease because he's not hard to deal with. So anyways, get back on to who you should be banning though. I'll say this because there's no scripts. I'm all over the place. Apologies. I'll go with Thatcher. Thatcher right now is a hot topic in the Siege community because pros are saying stop banning Thatcher in ranked, while pros are also banning Thatcher in Pro League. So people are kind of confused, like, why are you telling us to not ban him in rank, but you guys are banning him in Pro League? And GetFlank has a video all about that he can give you better details because he's a part of a Pro League team as a content creator, Dark Zero. So he has more information and insight when it comes to pro players than I would. But here's what I would say when it comes to the Thatcher ban. The issue with Thatcher bans isn't that you banned Thatcher, it's that you don't have a backup plan. When you ban Thatcher, you're telling the other team, hey, use Mira, use everyone who has electronic devices, use Bandit, use Mute, use everyone. And now you get to a situation where it becomes a gadget-heavy meta because Thatcher just keeps getting banned. And the biggest reason for that is because no one counters or has a workaround for that. Here's the first thing when it comes to banning Thatcher. You have to play offense as well. So if you're defense first, you're playing defense first, you go ban Thatcher. Do understand, at some point, it's not a maybe, it's guaranteed you are going to be playing on attack. Even if you lose all 3 of your freaking defense rounds, or win all 3 defense rounds, you still have to play at least 1 round on attack. So now you're on attack, and now you can't get through walls, you can't get through doors because you don't have Thatcher. Everyone's just picking fraggers. People have Thermite or Hibana or Ace, but can't even use them fully because there's no Thatcher. So you have to have a backup plan. Don't just ban Thatcher and be like, ha, we outsmarted you. We're on defense first, and we ban Thatcher. What are you going to do about it? Have a backup plan. There's these people who are in the game, and their name is IQ, and their name is Fuse, their name is Kali. You can use all these people, but no one's playing them because no one understands how useful they can be when you don't have a Thatcher on the board. There's also Twitch. When I play Siege, and I'm playing ranked Siege, all I see is people who are constantly banning Thatcher, but no one's picking Twitch. Because she got nerfed into the ground, so people just ignore picking her. No one's playing Fuse because people have this mindset with Fuse that he's only good if you can get kills with his gadget. No. That's small brain Siege. If your only thought process when it comes to Fuse is he's only good for getting kills with his gadget, and if you can't get onto a map where he can get kills with his gadget, he's useless, you have a small brain. You're not playing Siege correctly. You don't have the smarts to actually be a good Siege player. Sorry, not sorry. Fuse is a very vital character in this game who doesn't get paid enough. First off, he has a very good gun. Same gun Ace now has because it's a good ass gun. 2 things when it comes to Fuse gadget. Yes, Fuse gadget can kill players, but you know what his gadget also does? His gadget also takes out other gadgets. I know, mind blowing, right? You can use Fuse to get rid of frost mats. Who would have thought that? You can use Fuse to get rid of bandit charges, mutes. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought that if you're playing on Consulate and they're playing on Garage, that you can go piano with Fuse and make everything so much easier for your team? Not only that, you might hit someone and get a kill. You can get a kill. My mind is blown. Who would have thought also this is a character named IQ who can view gadgets through her little Power Rangers watch on her phone, on her wrist. You can go to piano, look through that little wristwatch thing that she has on her wrist, you know, because it's there, it's big, it's hard to see it, and you can shoot through the piano floor with her pistol and take out the charges. Who would have thought it? Who would have also thought you can use Sophia and shoot her gadget into a drone hole to also destroy destroy bandits? But they're not in a good spot. What if you're trying to work out in a situation to where you're being bandit tricked? That's why you also use Sophia's concussion grenades to keep bandit from doing a bandit trick. Here's the issue. Siege players are not trying to play as a team. They're trying to play as a solo. Not a solo queuer, as a solo player. Everyone's trying to have the best stats. Everyone's trying to have the best outcome. Everyone's looking out for themselves, their own KD, and not for the win. People aren't playing like a team in Siege, and thus you see these bad ban situations. People are just banning characters because they're annoying and not banning players because they're useful or what they aren't useful at. I've been talking about Thatcher the entire time. Let's go on to defense. Who's getting banned on defense when they probably shouldn't be getting banned on defense? Clash. Did Arcade just say don't ban Clash? Yes, I just said stop banning Clash. Here's why. First and foremost, people aren't gonna always pick Clash just because she's on the board. I have a lot of rank experience. I don't see Clash that often, even when she's not banned. People only pick Clash when they're desperate, and that's about it. So let's say you ban Clash, and now you have Legion, Doc, Valkyrie, Pulse, Kavera, Echo, Jaeger. You have all these other more vital, more useful operators on the board because you want to get rid of the chance, the small chance that someone's going to pick Clash. Tell you what, right now, one who's a guaranteed pick in Siege on defense? Doc. Doc is strong as fuck. He's a one-man army. But how often do you see a Doc ban? Almost never. Why? Because people think that's a small brain thing to do. People think, what bot will ban Doc? Here's a situation I'll give you. Say you and your team's playing. You in a 5-stack or 4-stack, doesn't matter. No one on your team plays Doc. Ever. It just doesn't happen. People might play Rook every now and then, but for the most part, no one on your team, and you know this for a fact because you play together a lot, no one plays Doc. Why aren't you banning Doc then? If you know for a fact no one on your team's gonna play Doc, why is he not banned? Think about it. He's one of the highest picked characters on defense. The other team's gonna play Doc. So if you know for a fact you're not gonna play Doc on your team, the other team will play Doc, ban Doc. That's how ban phases should work. Ban people based on who you're not gonna play, but who they will most likely play. Not who they will play, most likely. Who has the highest pick rate on defense? You know, the Docs of the world, the Valkyries of the world. Who's the most useful? Don't be like, I'm banning Legion because Legion's annoying. Stop banning for annoyances. And this adds into the toxicity of Siege. You don't even know that you're doing it yet. You're being toxic in Siege by banning people just because you find them annoying. Ban based on who you don't need and what map you're on. That goes for offense and for defense. So now, can we get off the ban phase topic and let's go somewhere else? Yes. How you treat other players is also part of why the player base is dropping when it comes to this game. And if you can't get that through your head, you're part of the problem. If everyone who comes to Siege who's new gets TK'd, voted kicked, and casual, why would they want to keep playing the game? If someone's playing a rank for the first time, why would they want to keep playing if you keep being toxic towards them, yelling at them? Why would any female gamer want to play Siege when you harass them when they play the game? When just because someone has a female voice or a female gamer tag or whatever, you start to TK them. You vote to kick them. All of this starts with the player base. The reason Siege is losing players has a very, very small percentage to do with the actual game itself and more to do with you. You're part of the problem. We are part of the problem. We have to get this mindset out of our head that it's just the developers and publishers who affect the success of a video game. No, the players also affect the success of a video game. If the player base is dying, it's not just the developer's fault. It's not just the game's fault. It's all of our fault. If we're not a welcoming community, who's gonna freaking play our game? No one. If we're toxic to other players, who's gonna want to stay and play the game? No one. If you're DDoSing people because you can't take a loss, why would anyone want to play the game? If you're doing LFGs and you kick someone out because they have a 0.9 KD and you have a 1.1, so you feel like, oh, you're inferior to me. What do they have? Good callouts. Sometimes the way to win a game is through callouts, not through having the most kills in the team. You are part of the problem. Understand that. We need to get better when it comes to the community as a whole, not just Siege, all of the gaming community. But when it comes to Siege, this is the topic at hand. The issue with Siege right now, and why it's losing players, is not Ubisoft's fault. It's the players' fault. Every single detail about the issues that I have with Siege and friends have with Siege all goes back to the players. And yes, you can say Ubisoft can do things to make DDoS less relevant or less effective. Or, here's an idea, stop fucking DDoSing. That easy. That simple. But anyways, this topic can go on forever, but we're at, 15, 14 minutes of this video, probably longer than that, I don't know. We'll wrap it up. I'll continue this topic at another date. We'll do that if you guys want to have more of this hot take discussion. I'm about that life. I want the smoke. I want all the smoke. But anyways, I've been the Archangel. UTX the Archangel, that is. Goodbye. Good night. Bang!